invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our Father, we meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and to the future, and the rights and the needs of both individuals and of all of our community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and on our efforts here tonight. May we act wisely and well. We pray for special protection for our military, for our law enforcement, and for our first responders. Amen.
Thank you, Councilman Campbell. Okay, we're all here on the dais. Thank you for all being here tonight. We have no communications, but this is now the time that citizens who would like to address the council on a non-agenda item, and I do have one card before me, and Craig Shaw would like to come and talk about ADOT. Craig? Or I guess formal Mr. Shaw.
You don't have to say that. There's no Mr. here. First, I'd like to tell you all what a great job and what great city services we have. Our police, our fire, and DPW are second to none. Before I get into the ADOT issue, there was an article in a paper, an editorial in the West Valley Views of rather negative proportion. I couldn't disagree more with that article. Other than the food tax and raising taxes, I disagree with this gentleman wholeheartedly. I love that we have a city council and a mayor that put their personal issues aside to come together for the good of the community. Thank you all very much for the job you do.
Thank you.
Having said that, last week I was here about ADOT and I-10. I did my own noise study for one solid week. I had an average. My low was 68 decibels. The high was 93 decibels. Put all the week's numbers together, and I come out with an average of 70 for a low and 77 for a high. Those are way above federal standards. Last week, the city manager stated that they're going to rubberize the road. Initially, that was 2018. I've heard that's been pushed up to 2017. The issue there is that only lowers the noise decibel level by 3, according to ADOT themselves. Those levels, my yard will still be, and anybody that lives on McDowell will still be out there. Really, that's all I got to say, except for I really do love our city services and the great job you guys do as a group and getting things done for the better of the community. And like I told Bill, nobody that's happy is going to come up here and say that. They're going to wait till something negative comes out, then they'll speak. But you guys do a great job on our city service. They're second to none. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let's go on. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak that didn't fill out a card? All right. Well, let's go to this consent agenda. Will the city clerk please read consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.5 by title only, please?
Item 6.1, approve draft minutes from a special meeting held on March 2nd, 2015. Item 6.2, accept 2013 Arizona Department of Homeland Security grant for $8,700 to fund 2 new gas meters and a utility trailer for the CBRNE response unit. Item 6.3, accept 2013 Arizona Department of Homeland Security grant for $3,600 to fund 3 ballistic vests for the Terrorism Liaison Officer Program. Item 6.4, approve an extension for the Rosewood Golf Villa's final plat approval, extending the approval date for 90 additional days to June 21st, 2015. Item 6.5, approve an extension for the Sanctuary at Saraville Village final plat approval, extending the approval date for 90 additional days to June 21st, 2015, subject to the stipulations approved by City Council on June 23rd, 2014, except for Stipulation 12, which has been modified.
Thank you. Does anybody in the public wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Does anyone in the council wish to remove an item from the consent agenda?
I have a question.
Councilman Stipp has a question?
Question on 6.4 and 6.5.
6.4 and 6.5. Do we have someone who will address that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Stipp?
Just two fairly simple questions. When were these first approved? And so basically, how long have they been on the books, if you will?
The Rosewood Golf Villas was approved on, sorry, I have to find my notes. Was approved on December 15th, 2014.
Okay.
Can I just, but it came up long before that. There's been lots of discussion on this, like before 2014.
And
Thank you. That's when the final plat was approved. So
Okay.
council saw the preliminary
Okay.
plat. There was
All right.
certainly discussion. The sanctuary was originally approved on June 23rd, 2014, and council did approve one extension on this one on October 27th. And so this would be a second extension on the sanctuary.
Okay, so then my follow-up question to actually both of these together is, are we actually going to get this done in the next 90 days, or do you, and now I'm particularly concerned about the sanctuary, are we going to be back for another one?
Thank you. What we're hearing from the applicants on both, if I can address them separately.
Sure.
On Rosewood, there are just a couple of the stipulations that they need to take care of before they record that they're working on. Mostly they had to do with, since it's located in the Estrella development, they're having some issues on coordinating with the Estrella LLC, since it's a home builder working with Estrella. So there's just a couple minor issues. We anticipate that'll be recorded within the next 90 days. On Sanctuary, it is unusual for us to do a second extension. For this case, though, they are working on selling the property to a home builder, and they are working with a specific home builder, and that is anticipated to take place within the next 90 days. Also, this particular piece of property is a infill development within an already developed property, so we also wanted to assist them. We looked at, if we didn't approve this extension and we started all over at the preliminary plat, we didn't see a benefit to the community for that at this time. However, we have the stipulations written so that they need to get this taken care of this 90 days, and the applicant is aware of that.
So if this sales deal doesn't go through in the 90 days, I would expect you're going to be back looking for another 60 to finish the sale.
If the sale, if there was just one specific thing with the sale and it's still going through, they just need a little bit of time, I think that's something that we would consider. If this sale deal completely falls through and they have to look for a new home builder, then we would probably start having those conversations. Does it make sense to do an extension? We would have those specific conversations.
Okay, great. Thank you for the follow-up.
Vice Mayor?
Just a follow-up question. Are there a limited amount of extensions that you can grant?
No, there is flexibility within the city code. Typically, we only allow one extension because we do want to see development. However, we would look at it as a case-by-case basis. If there's a certain circumstance, if the person is compelled to develop, staff will look at that. And, again, does it make sense to start over at preliminary plat again, or is there a benefit to try and keep this project active so we can get development underway?
So then, make sure I understand, if it's not granted, then they've got to go all the way back to the preliminary plat status again and apply for a preliminary plat?
Thank you. That's correct.
That is correct? Okay.
Well, I can understand with the housing market the way it is right now. If anybody's been reading the paper in our area, and some of those, they're picking up home sites. Is that right? This has come over into new, and so it takes time sometimes, and it takes time for financing, and it just takes time to convince those different builders to come in. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed and wish them well that you will be coming up very soon, and this will be a done deal. So thank you. Any other questions? All right, then can I please have a motion, a second, to approve the consent agenda, items 6.1 to 6.5?
So move.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Osborne, a second by Councilman Campbell. Councilman Holman, sorry. I saw you both raise your hands, so I wasn't quite sure there. So roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Holman?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
Great. Let's go on to the business item. It's to recognize April. It's a Fair Housing Month. Back up, Katie Wilkin, Planning Manager, to present.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Each year, the city shows its support for the Fair Housing Act by declaring April as Fair Housing Month. What the Fair Housing Act does is it gives every person the right to decent housing regardless of sex, religion, national origin, race, color, familiar status, or disability. One statement I'd like to make, if there is anybody out there who would like to learn more about their rights under the Fair Housing Act, or they think they might have been discriminated against, we do have information on the city's website, goodyearaz.gov. Anyone is also welcome to contact the Development Services Department at 623-932-3005, and they can lodge a complaint or ask questions and find out more information. Otherwise, in order to support the Fair Housing Act, staff would recommend approval of the resolution. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Would anybody in the audience like to speak? And I didn't get a speaker card on anything. So will the city clerk please read resolution by title only?
Adopt resolution number 15-1701, promoting fair housing and recognizing April as Fair Housing Month.
Thank you. Could I please have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Loretano and a second by Vice Mayor Pizzillo. Open for council discussion. I just have one thing to say. It's very important, selling homes. The Fair Housing Act was monumental when it came in and certainly treats everybody fairly. And so I'm pleased to see this before us, and we're going to be voting on this. So could let's do a roll call vote on this, please.
Councilmember Osborne?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Homan?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pizzillo?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
All right, we're going to 7.2 to adopt the results of the primary election that was held on March 20th, 2015, and Maureen Scott, City Clerk, to present.
Good evening, Mayor Lord and council members. This item before you is to adopt Resolution 15-1699 for canvassing of the March 10th primary election that comprised of 3 council seats. By state law, the election has to be canvassed not less than 6 days and not more than 20 days after the election. There were 5 candidates on the ballot for 3 council seats. Final results have been received, and the 3 council seats have been filled with 3 candidates receiving 50% plus 1 of the total votes. The 3 incumbents, Sherry Loretano, Joanne Osborne, and Bill Stipp, were re-elected and will be sworn in at the June 8th council meeting. The primary election was an all-mail election, and where all City of Goodyear registered voters received a ballot in the mail. City Hall was an early voting site and a ballot replacement site in Goodyear, which opened on February 12th. And the traffic at City Hall was pretty light, and of course lighter than the fall for our general plan election. And election day was very quiet, and we didn't have any issues during early voting. We currently have approximately 34,000 registered voters, and we had a voter turnout of 21.68%. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
All right. Would anybody in the audience like to speak? All right. Will the city clerk please read resolution by title only?
Adopt resolution number 15-1699 declaring and adopting the results of the primary election held on March 10th, 2015, and ordering the recordation of such resolution.
Thank you. Could I please have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Vice Mayor Pizzillo and a second by Councilman Campbell. Open for council discussion. Vice Mayor Pizzillo.
I'd like to congratulate Councilmember Osborne, Councilmember Loretano, and Councilmember Stipp for their re-election bid. Welcome. I'm glad you're back.
I also, as a mayor, would like to congratulate you, and I attended some of the debates and things that went on in the city, and I thought they went quite well, and everybody was respectful of each other, and so I thank you for that type of attitude. So with that, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Homan?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
Quick meeting, huh? So now is the time for council. Any information items you'd like to share? Councilman Loretano, do you have something?
I know we all attended the League of Cities and some other things. I'm sure other people will speak about that. But I kind of want to just take this time and kind of give you an update on what goes on, like in our area and our school a little bit more.
Great.
We had two teams, our boys soccer team, and I think it was the girls basketball team, if I'm correct, that won the districts up there.
I read
They're
that.
both Goodyear schools, so I want to let y'all know that. We have a Science Olympiad team that is so far second in the region, and they go to state soon. So I just want to let you all know what's going on up there. And we have speed humps now by the daycare center at the Safeway.
Good.
So
I'd be interested in when they go for the contest on the science, how that turns out, and if there's anybody we need to bring before us and give them.
well, we have two. We have a Science Olympiad team, and then several of the students are going to
Right.
the state at the science fair.
Okay, good. So we'd like to hear that later and results. Anybody else? Yeah, Councilman Osborne.
I attended the HOA meeting for Vanderbilt Farms and really wanted to thank Luke Albert for being there. It's wonderful to have staff when we attend these and be able to answer questions of the residents. That was really nice. Had my homeless youth connection, couple meetings there. But my message tonight that I'd like to give to whoever's listening, and doesn't matter how old you are, this is a reactionary type of statement, but it is very important. Last night, my daughter, my baby, rolled her truck. She was forced off of the highway on the I-10 as she was headed to U of A, and ended up flipping her vehicle, and she was in a Bronco. It completely flipped, and it did land upright. Everything in her vehicle was ejected out of that vehicle except for my baby because she was wearing her seatbelt. And so my message this evening is to everyone, including everybody that's sitting right out there, is you wear your seatbelt. And I'm saying that as your council member and as a mother, because she's with us. And even though I was in the ER last night till 3 in the morning,
She's fine.
she's fine. And she has a rash across her from the seatbelt, but you know what? So what? She's here, and her white Bronco that's the same year as O.J. Simpson's, we call O.J., did his job in protecting
What a
her.
tuna boat. I think we just had an ad for that car.
O.J. did his job in protecting
Great.
her. So wear your seatbelts. Thank you.
We're really
I'm glad she's all
We're
right.
glad she's
Okay,
good. We're sorry to
yeah,
hear
wow.
that, and it's pretty traumatic.
Yeah.
But amazing, the car just flipped right back over again, huh? Well, good for her. So our prayers are with her. I'm sure hope that the rash goes away and that there's no other injury from it. So, any other information? Okay.
Did they get the guy there?
Any inquiries did we make? I'm sorry, Sherry.
I just have a quick inquiry of the manager, and we've talked. I know you all have been working on it. There's a house up in Estrella that burnt, and then I know you guys were working to see what can do. There's some scaffolding on that looks like it's about ready to go, and I don't know if there's anything we can do to at least remove the scaffolding. I know there's other issues with the ownership and what we can and cannot do, but the scaffolding is kind of looks like it's almost ready to fall. In one big windstorm, it's either going to hit that, or I'm afraid some kid's going to climb up on it. Is there anything we can do to at least remove the scaffolding?
Safety issue. Do we have any jurisdiction?
Yes, Councilmember Loretano. Obviously, there are a couple of things going on with this. The one thing on this most recent issue with the scaffolding, we will absolutely get our code enforcement folks on it, and we will keep council informed of what we're able to do there. But certainly understand your concern.
Thank you.
Councilman Campbell.
Well, this result really isn't for the city manager. It's kind of for the mayor, too. But I would like to see more citizen student recognition before our council meetings as we go forward when we want to recognize school groups and school districts. I know we do some of them, and even folks that serve on our current committees when their terms are over, I'd like to be sure that we recognize them and thank them. And it's a nice way for the citizens themselves to be recognized, especially our kids, because it's really important. What we do with them, they'll remember all their life. So
Well, what you need to do is bring the name up, let us know,
Yeah.
let staff know, and we can make arrangements. Because, I see, like you do, a lot of things in the newspaper, and I think, oh, I need to tell them about
Yeah.
this. This needs some special attention. So if you're all doing it, we might be able to cover it
Thank
all
you.
and
Perfect.
have that ability to do that. Because I don't think that's a problem here at the meeting at all.
great.
Bill?
Mayor, we had last week at the end, at this particular section, I had addressed the manager about the weed problems on some of the roadways. Just kind of wanted to follow up with the rest of the council on that, just to let you know that the next day I got a phone call from Jeremy Figueroa, one of the parks superintendents, I think is what his title is, asking detailed questions about where it was and things that were going on. So the follow-up from that, I think sometimes the public, they hear this and they hear, hey, we need to do this, and then we never talk about it again. But just to kind of close the loop on that, the response back from staff was virtually immediate. Jeremy and I had a great conversation about what the working plan was and where things, how they were addressing it, and then specifically about the areas that I found or that I thought I had remembered. So I just wanted to kind of close the loop on that not only did the issue get raised, but it was addressed immediately, and Jeremy got right on it. So I greatly appreciate both the manager, Nate, and then obviously Jeremy's quick follow-up. So
Yeah, the same way of the requests that I made too, and I went by and it looks good. Sherry, did you want to talk? You were at basis.
green to go.
Doesn't want to turn on. I attended with the mayor the basis picnic to meet the staff, and there was a ton of families out there, and they are very, very excited to come to Goodyear. And I don't know how many times they thank the city and thank the staff for all the hard work. So I just want to forward that. They were very complimentary towards everybody.
Yeah, it was a good group of people, a lot of children. It was heartwarming. So anything else? All right, then City Manager, do you have anything for us?
Yes, Mayor, members of the council, I do have some communication items tonight. I'll be brief. I have about 4 of them to go through. The first is, and we have in our audience, oh, there she is, Rachel Aja is our new assistant to the mayor, and she actually started today as the assistant to the mayor. Quick background on her. She worked just about 4 years for the city of Peoria and served as the assistant to Mayor Bob Barrett before she was actually promoted to Intergovernmental Affairs Coordinator at the beginning of the year. And prior to Peoria, she worked with Congressman Gosar on his campaign staff, transition team, and as office manager in their Casa Grande office. She also worked as a membership representative for Cattlemen's Association, which I think runs deep in her family, and as a municipal lobbyist for the Home Builders Association. A couple of things. She's an honorary commander with Luke Air Force Base, and congratulations. That's a great program, and we know that will graduate to eventually a Blue Blazer, perhaps. Graduate of Leadership West. Previously served on City of Surprise Economic Development Advisory Board, so we're getting all their inside information.
Good.
I've
been trying to do that. Great. It works well.
The Hugh O'Brien, and I'm teasing for Surprise that may be listening, by the way. Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership Board of Directors and the Town of Buckeye General Plan Advisory Committee. So I wanted to point those out. Obviously, a lot of experience and relationships that she's built in and certainly the West Valley, so and in local government. So we're excited to have her on the team. So welcome, Rachel.
Well, we have to make her stand. You have
All
to
right.
stand.
You're allowed to speak too if you want. Okay, I think we got to pass on that. I didn't warn her in advance, by the way. The other is, and we've been getting the word out, but APS has made the decision to, on the lobby hours, that is changing. So we've gotten that out many different ways. And as a reminder, the public, beginning this coming Monday, March 30th, APS counter will be changing to 8 a.m. rather than 7:30. So the doors of City Hall will no longer open at 8 a.m. That was the reason we opened them up before. So that was really at the request and where APS is going with those hours. And obviously they collect our payments and things like that for us at the front counter. On a very positive, we had set a new attendance record for the Goodyear Ballpark this past Friday. Indians hosted the Los Angeles Angels, and we set a new record with 11,549.
Yay.
And that's a lot of standing room only people as part of that. If you, going back to the last record was back in 2013 during spring training, when the Indians hosted the Giants for a Saturday night game, and that was 11,023. So we bested it by 520 some. So that was great, and obviously a lot of work on the part of staff. The last item I have is the Goodyear Arts and Culture Commission, the Colors of the World Art Show. The exhibits are currently on display over at the Goodyear Library, and will be there until June the 30th. 18 artists displaying 20 different artworks that depicts global artwork, and also it conveys a personal memory or story from each of these artists. If you're interested, tomorrow from 5 to 7, there's an artist reception. Tomorrow afternoon, again, 5 to 7 at the Goodyear Branch Library. It's open to the public, have an opportunity to meet the artists, enjoy musical entertainment by award-winning artist Sherry Fenzer, and light refreshments will be served in celebration of the many talented local artists that we actually have with their artwork on display. So if you have an opportunity, it'd be great. It is just another public event that we like to have in the community. That's all
I'm
I have.
attending. I hope some of you other would just kind of drop in. You can just drop in if you're around. Doesn't take much.
Stay.
You don't have to stay. It doesn't take much of your day, but you stay long enough to look at the wonderful art display. So it's real well. First of all, before I end this, I wanted to say how happy I am. I have an assistant, and I really appreciate getting someone that's coming to the Goodyear that is so well trained. She knows more than the mayor. She is really top in hirees, so I'm just really pleased to have her. And I've known her for a long, long time, so it was really quite special. I think I knew you when I was on the city center committees when I first met you, and so I've talked to Rachel through the years. So I've kind of kept on when she bought her new house and when she did these things and when she went to the cattle association. So it's been a nice relationship. So for me, it was really special. Now, I didn't have anything to do with this. I'll tell the public that. We let staff go ahead and pick the person, but I'm just terribly pleased about it. So thank you and welcome to Goodyear. So the next meeting will be a work session on March 30th. Now, we're going to adjourn this meeting, but you know that we're going to go into a special exec meeting. So I'm going to adjourn this meeting. We're going to start the one right away. This meeting is adjourned. All right, I'd like to call to order the special meeting.